Good evening, everybody. So let us start our lecture tonight. And I come forward because I believe if you understand tonight's lecture along with last lecture, then you will understand 50% of object-oriented programming principle. Okay. So if you cannot give attention to this lecture tonight, please go home. If you do not give attention here, you don't need to stay here. Okay. I will give you percentage, no problem. Only you don't need to come to my lecture only for percentage. Okay. I will give you percentage if needed. Okay. So let us start our lecture tonight. And before I start tonight, let me review quickly one of the test 1 questions. Okay, in a test 1, there was a class, a scar class, okay, and there was a member ID and public. Okay, there was a static variable, static string model, and there was a method model, and there was also a public set ID. These are set. There were some ellipses. That means there was some code, valid codes. Okay, forget about ellipses. Or now think about that these codes are valid. Then after that, in the main method, there was an object created. Car C1 equal to new car, right? After that, there was few, and you were asked to identify the valid or correct statements. Okay. I think these are preliminary foundation of object-oriented programming, and I discussed this during my lecture, and as also I discussed with live programs. Okay. Still, some of you did mistake. So let's go this statement. So it's a car. C is an uppercase car. That means this car is a class. Car dot set model. Can we do this? So our set model is a method, so we can call it by its class name, but we can call it by its object name. So do this way also. I can do this is also valid. C1 dot. This is valid but not commanded. This is what it shows a line. Okay, and this line equal to some values. Okay, so ID is a private member, so ID cannot be accessed like this. We need a getter setter method, right? So we need to use set ID method, set ID. Okay, and set model. Okay, so this is not a static method. Okay. So if we say set model, we cannot. We need to call it by with this class. This is invalid. Okay, so also these ones dot ID equal to this value. Can we do this way? No. Okay, we cannot do this way. We cannot do C1 dot ID or car dot ID because ID is not a static. So I cannot use car over here. It's not a public, so I cannot use this way. And car dot set ID. Can I call that way? So set ID is a method that is non-static. Okay, and it is so set ID must be called with an object. So I can do C1.id is valid. But if I say car.setID, then it would be invalid. Okay, and setID I cannot call this way. And call C1.color equal to red. C1.color is public, right? Color is a public, so I can do this way. So it's valid. But I cannot do it this way, color equal to green or red. I cannot do this. And car dot model equal to Ford. So our model is, if it is possible, if our model is a static variable. Yes, here our model is a static number. Can do this way, dot model, and make. Sorry, my computer is slow. Make here. This is model. Model here is static, so it is possible to call using car.model, and make is public, so to use car.c1.make. I use car.make. I cannot use car. So people who did not correct on this five, like there are 5. Okay, each I have 5 points. If you missed one, you will miss 5 points. Who did mistake on this? Then we will guess that you did not practice programming. If you did practice programming, then you did not do this mistake. These are the very basic foundation. Okay, let us start our lecture. Right, actually I'm trying to upload our last lecture video. I will upload last lecture video and tonight's lecture video today soon. So anyone about this? When you see your grade, then if you do mistakes here, then you need to do practice. Okay. Our last lecture, we discussed an important property of object-oriented programming that is called abstract class. Okay. A class is called an abstract class if it contains at least one abstract method. Yes. In 2 weeks. By the end of next week. No, 2 weeks after we administer the test. Hopefully next week you will get it. Okay, so here, okay, a class is called an abstract class. It contains at least one abstract method. What is an abstract method? An abstract method is a method that does not have any implementation. Okay, and the concept of abstraction, it says what it does, but it does not say how it does or how it is done. For instance, when you read an abstract of a paper, the paper said they found this, they found this, right? Abstraction, the abstract of a paper, it does not say that how that result was calculated or found. Maybe there is a several years or several decades research history. They will in one line. So in abstraction, here in object-oriented programming languages, abstraction are implemented in two ways: in abstract class and interface. In our last lecture we discussed abstract class. Today I will review quickly. So an abstract class, here it has an abstract method. Okay, so move method is abstract. Okay, so why it is showing an error? Okay, once a class contains an abstract method, the class itself needs to be abstract. So it's a public abstract. I need to say public abstract. This error is gone. If a class does not contain any abstract method, a class can be declared as abstract class. Okay, a method that is abstract cannot have an implementation, a body. Okay. So where the implementation will be? The implementation will be in the time class. Okay. Sometimes we hear that it is called, some vehicles are called multimedia vehicles, right? Okay. Concept of multimedia vehicle is that, for instance, there is a station of vehicle builders. They build and do various different kinds of vehicles. The vehicle will be called multimedia vehicles. For instance, very simple, if it has a sound system or a storage system, what is called audio or CD or sound system, right? That is in general called a multimedia vehicle. So, for instance, the rule, the Vehicle Builders Association, they will set up that in order to call your vehicle a multimedia vehicle, you should have a multimedia system on the dashboard or somewhere, or is a dashboard of your vehicle. But even if you do not, okay, you should have a multimedia system. Okay, but it will not tell you. Okay, it will not tell you how the multimedia system. You can build a multimedia system with a costly iPad or a touchpad or a tablet or a CD drive or a radio. Or at least, in order to be a multimedia vehicle, for instance, this is the dashboard. This is our dashboard. You should have at least one place, like this kind of place, at least one place empty. You should have a box like this, and it is actual implementation of this box will depend on the actual builder. Toyota company will have some kind of implementation over here. Here, Toyota have made different kinds of models. According to different models, they will have different types of implementation over here. But in order to call a multimedia vehicle, you must have this, at least a plan. This is the concept. Okay, to be an abstract class. Once you see that, once I say non-abstract, so that means there is no abstract keyword. It is showing me an error because it needs a body. But if I say an abstract, then it does not need a body. It cannot have a body. Even if you say abstract and then if you give a body like blank, it will give you an error. In your test, you will get a question from abstract class. Even if you are asked to write an abstract class, we have seen that in the last few semesters. I mentioned clearly, but still some people they put abstract class and with like this, and they claim that, oh, I did not put any body, my body is empty, but it is not valid. Okay, do the mistake. Okay. An abstract class is 0 to 100% class. Even a class does not contain any abstract method, it can be an abstract class. And an abstract class cannot be used to create an object, instantiate an object. How the object of this type will be created? Actually, the concrete class, that means complete class of this type, another complete class that will inherit this class will implement that method. Okay. So let us keep as usual our okay. So in our main class, what is an error? Okay, so this is an error that in our last 5 minutes we discussed this, right? There were these 5 or 6 statements. If you understand these 6, you will understand 30% of objective. Anybody who understands these 6 questions, you will understand 5 times 6, like 7, right? You will understand 30% of objective concept. It has class, object, inheritance, abstraction, object relation, and polymorphism. So here, this will whether if I say this statement is correct or not. Dog, deep, what is the name of this? It's not matter, but one do not have duplicate name. That's fine, okay. So new dog, that means is D1 is an instance of dog and kind of dog. That is type of dog, but an instance of dog. Okay, this is the easiest way to check whether this is true or false is that you will ask a question yourself. Are all dogs dog? Find true answer, then your statement is true. We can ask, are all dogs dog? Yes. Are all dogs dog? Yes. If we say, are all cat dog? No, right? Okay. Then this is invalid. Dog cat? No. Are all dog? No. Okay. Are all animals dog? For instance, let us think about this way. Okay, this is our animal class. This is our animal class. And we have dog and we have cat. Okay. So all dogs are animal, all cats are animal, but all animals are not, and all animals are not cat, because some animals dog, some animals cat. Think about this way. So in this sense, this is not correct. In another sense, we can say that in this case, animal is an abstract class. The abstract class cannot be instantiated. We cannot, an abstract class cannot true with new operator. So in two sense, okay. And then let's see the last two statements. So dog is here. How do we read this? D17 is a dog instance that is a type of animal. Okay, but here in line number 21, D7 is a dog instance that is a type of difference between these two lines. Remember that the difference between two lines. Here, line 7, D7 is a dog instance that is a type of dog. But here, D17 is a dog instance that is a type of animal. Here, this says D19 is a cat instance, cat object that is a animal. Okay, but here say if we say this cat, maybe C. Okay, C19 here is a cat object that is a type of cat. The difference between these two cat, when we use the instance, for instance here, let me see. Let me type these two together. Okay. So both to understand the main difference between these two statements. This is the important thing. Please give focus. Here, D7 is a dog in. That is a kind of dog. Okay, so D7 has access if dog has parent of animal. Okay, if dog is animal class, D7 will have access to dog's properties as well as the inherited properties from animal. But here, D17 is a dog animal that is type of animal. Dog object that is type of animal. That is dog instance here, D17 will have only access to animal. So this is difficult to explain this. Okay. Verbally, so I like all each method and see that you understand. Anyone has any questions so far? Yes. Okay, let us see. D17, when we click on dot. So D17, what does have its access? Does it has any access to dog object? Do you see anything on the right side that says dog? You see? You see anything on the right side it says dog? It has only animal and object. The difference? It's kind of animal. So in nature, a child has access to his parent property. A child can inherit his child property, his parent property, but a parent cannot inherit his child property. In our in our property rule, our parent, we can give our money, we definitely give our money to our parents, right? Our parent cannot inherit our property. We inherit our parents' property, okay? So here, if you write your program over here, I told you that. Do you see anything from dog class? Okay, you do not see that, right? So, but here, if I say D7, that it has some dog, it has some animal, and it has some object. Okay. Good question, though. Thank you. Anyone has any other question? So, without seeing this actually in programming language, it is difficult to explain. So here, okay, I have a question to you. If you do not have a question, I have a question. Okay, related to this question, so which one is more powerful? Which object is more powerful, D1 or D7 or D17? Which object has more extended accessibility, more property? Because D7, it can use its own property as well as it can use its parent property. Okay, but D17 can use only his own property. That is the strength of inheritance, right? It has an existing class. It extends object strength. Any other question? Yes. That dog will inherit properties from, let's say, black dog. A black dog will inherit properties from dog, from animal, from object. Let us create. So that good question. Let us create another dog pairs objects. So let us create another dog object. You said black dog, right? Okay. So black dog extends what? Dog, right? Okay, that's good. And then in our main method, let us create what? Black dog BD1, black dog 1 equal to new black dog. Okay, so it's a BD1 dot. So it has dog properties. So it has animal properties. Okay, it has object properties, and it has actually we did not give it. Yeah, one method. Okay, public string. What should? Huh? Two things different. Discuss that later. Yeah, string. Okay. Next sound. Okay. Public string. It is returning public method returning a string, and I need a return statement. This is why it is showing an error. I say return make sound? How does a black dog make sound? Bark. Okay. Simple for instance this. Okay. Save it. And then BD1 dot. You see it as dog, animal, and it has black dog. So this black dog, it has its own property, is father property, and is right, and it has greatest grandfather property, that is object. So by this way we can go multi-level. Okay, good question though. Anyone has any other question? Okay, you may have a question in your mind, but whatever question you have, please try to do a practice. Without practicing, you will not understand this. Okay. So, through an abstract class, what did we ensure? We ensured that an inherited property must be utilized, implemented, right? For instance, when we made a method abstract, then this method must be implemented with any other method, any other class that inherited this animal class. For instance, our dog class inherited our animal, so my dog class used move method to override the move. During our inheritance discussion, we got a situation that we understood that, or we knew that a class cannot have multiple parents. So inheritance does not allow multiple inheritance. Java does not allow multiple inheritance. Okay. So what is that? That means, for instance, our black dog, it can extend dog, okay, and for instance, it cannot extend animal again. Although it is getting properties from animal through dog, but through like this way, we cannot have multiple parents, because the reason is that if for a reason, if this dog is this parent, so this is parent 1, this is parent 2, this parent is same properties, same method with same name, then you will be connecting to a black dog, and who is property will. For instance, a dog, if a dog has a property sound, an animal has property make sound, okay, then it will be calling. There will be confusion, okay. So C++ is allowed, but in Java that was a problematic. Okay. So in modern object-oriented programming languages, C#, Java does not allow multiple inheritance, having multiple parents. Like for instance, we cannot have in our real life, we cannot have multiple biological fathers, right? We can have multiple fathers, father-in-law, like foster father, maybe religious father or something. We can have multiple fathers, right? We may honor everybody on same level, but only we may have only one biological father. You know that, right? In object-oriented programming is designed with real-life concepts. In real life, objects should not have multiple parents, right? So, sure that object-oriented programming like Java does not allow have multiple parents. In some cases, if it is needed, there is an alternative way to do that implementation. That is called interface. Yes, sir. Next few minutes, let us discuss about interface. So let us create a package. Time is short today. In our next lecture, I will show you some programs with C#. Same program with C#. Interface package. I just made a package name. It's called interface package. I did a mistake. Let me create a package first. Give the name interface package. Okay, and within this interface package, let me create new. And at this time, instead of class, I will create an interface. You see that all interfaces has an I at the beginning and classes has C. Okay. I will say what is an interface, I can say. Mammals. By the way, in most programming convention, all interfaces started with an I. So then people, they can see that I at the beginning of a name, they understand that this is an interface. Okay, I got an interface. So what is the concept of an interface? Say interface. Instead of class, you say interface. Okay, so mammals is an interface. Okay, so let us give some criteria. Say void if for instance 1 gives milk. A mammal gives us milk, right? Let us make interface. New interface. Anyone suggest me a good interface name that is a tag in between animal and something in animal kingdom of animal, like birds. Sorry, what is the name you told me? Reptiles. Okay. R E T T A I L S. Okay. I L. Thank you. Okay, I give I, so that is interface. Okay. Okay, what is the common criteria of reptile? Reptile. Huh? 16. Come on here. You. Tell me what I just said. And what is that?
Lay X.
Huh?
Lay X.
Oh, yeah. Lay. Okay. That's good. Okay. See, interface, by general, we should start the name with an I, and it will say public interface. Okay, all interfaces should be public. And it has a method, and this method, for instance, whatever it has, by default, is abstract. So you do not need, and by default, public. Public, you can say this, but if you do not say this, then still it is. So these are by default. Everything, for instance, let us make another can walk. Another here, okay. Let us make this very simple. And reptile, let us make another one. And what is that? So two methods. So by default, this one is public and this abstract, and this is also by default abstract. So now let us create another class. Okay. Reptiles class. You see that? I'm sorry. Here I wanted to show you something. Class. So let me to make a Python is a reptile, right? Python. Python. It's kind of reptile, right? Okay. So you see that. So what is the super class? I can say this super class by default dot lang dot object. That is by super class. I can add more super class. Browse more super classes. Okay. So or I can add more interfaces over here. So if I say add, so then if I browse, I can do this way. Time, but let me do this. I will finish it over here. So my Python class, okay, I can say it instead of extends, we will say implement. Implements, okay. Then I mammals and I reptiles. See, this is showing error because I need to import this mammal class and I import this reptile package. So now it is showing me an error, only an error, right? Python, what do I need to do? I need to add unimplemented method. So what unimplemented? How many? So it's a LayX. It came from where? Remember that? Reptile class, right? So this is abstract and this is default abstract. Okay. So LayX can move. This came from reptile class and gives milk, can talk, can walk. These came from mammals class. Okay, so the concept is that I can paint multiple interfaces. Okay. But I want to extend parallelly. I can extends maybe animal. Yeah. Then I need to add unimplemented method for animal. Animal class had more. So the concept I can extend only one class, but I can implement multiple interfaces, right? So for instance, the class, this is my biological father, and these are other kind of fathers. Maybe religious father, maybe foster father, father-in-law. And so you understand how to, we use in general, we use extend keyword when we inherit from a class. When we inherit from an interface, we use import keyword, okay? And in C# for we will use colon. C# we will, in our next lecture I will, maybe I need to review some next lecture. Okay, a few more things there I need to recap. So instant, even by default I say, I did not say public abstract, by default these are public. But okay, so but I could not say private. Did I say private abstract? Okay. It says illegal modifier for the interface LayX, only public abstract, default, static, and strict FP, fluid. Okay, that means it cannot be private. Yeah. Okay, and another thing I may have, it can be default. If there is nothing, so then it is default. Okay, then if I have, for instance, public int account, if I want to do this way, in an inter Java, I can have a variable, even maybe static. Okay, but I normal variable or static variable, but they must be initialized. So without, when I did not initialize it, it was showing me an error, right? When I was like this way, I was this way, right? But when if I want to, so in an interface, Java allows us to use a variable, but that variable must be initialized. Remember this point. It's an important interview question, critical interview question. Very high level interview question, okay? Have a variable in Java interface that must be initialized. Yeah. Okay, and what is the error just showing me? Oh, error is gone when I saved it. Okay, and another thing is that, okay, so in a this is called a class. When a class has full implementation of an interface or an class member, that is called a concrete class. When a class does not contain anything else, it's called a content class. Okay. Okay. Now let us understand the differences between an interface and an abstract class. That is very, very important interview question and very knowledgeable topic. Okay, what are the differences between an interface and an abstract class? In one word, if you say an interface is 100% abstract, because within interface everything is by default. Even if you put, when you put a variable, we have to have value. In a Java class, we saw that it's a class, an abstract class can be 0 to 100% abstract. It may not any abstract element. But an interface is 100%. Okay, so if you want to answer this question full page, you should give 4 or 5 points. In your next class, okay, be prepared and do some study. Next class, I will ask randomly something. What are the differences between an interface and an abstract class? Give us 5 answers. I mentioned a few points, right? I mentioned a few points. Already mentioned all 5. Okay. Another important thing I am missing about interface. Okay. Usually you see that we use implements keyword when we use inherit an interface. But sometimes we may need to extend an interface. In that case, in that situation, we will use extend keyword. For instance, we can have reptiles. I could say reptiles, interface reptiles extends mammals. That means here reptiles will also extend animals. Okay. So an interface extend interface. But my question is that can an interface extend a class? Here we say reptile extends and okay, animal cannot be resolved type. Animal or animal. Okay, so an interface cannot extend a class. Class can extend an interface. An interface can extend another interface, but an interface cannot extend a. That is another important. Time is almost over. In our, do I have 10 more minutes? Oh, that's good. I have 10 more minutes. 10. Then I can maybe finish. So, okay. So now let us data. Okay, our program is good. Everything so far. There is no error. Okay. Mainly, maybe in our next lecture, I will discuss maybe or review this problem with C sharp. Okay, I have all this program in C sharp as well as in C sharp version. Let me get quickly. So I have my abstract class vehicle in C sharp. Okay, you see that almost everything same, and compared to Java, this is the difference part, and almost getter and setter. Oh, by the way, C sharp we can use write getter this way, or we can just write it and setter in shortcut way. How many of are you? How many taking C sharp lab? 5. Okay, you should have known this. If you do not know this, then I will discuss in next lecture. Okay, so then I have my vehicle. This is my parent class, and I have a car class. You see that is my inheritance symbol, and here in this symbol you should have space here. Maybe I know that in C++ it would make error. We should keep space over here. So this is the symbol of inheritance. In C sharp, will use same symbol colon sign for both interface and abstract class. Okay, and I have a class. So it in vehicle. Maybe let's see if I can interface. Okay, inheritance. Okay, maybe I can have another. I can add another. Add in C sharp we use add new item, and we will use class here interface. What is the name of we will give? Vehicle truck. We have maybe engine. Okay. Engine. Okay, you see that interface I do have. Let us do public int engine count equal to 1. Okay, I got this. The main difference in the interface C# and Java is that we knew that Java interface we were able to declare a variable, but C# does not allow that. That is the limitation in C#. Okay, so I could say public void type fine for public. Even it does not allow to put public. Okay, so by default it's public. So here in C# it does not allow us to use a variable, okay, that Java allows us, and also you see that I could not use public. But remember that in Java I was able to use public, right? I could not use so I use abstract. I cannot use public. So let's read this. It will show me an error. So everything with an interface is by default public and abstract, but Java allows us to do that explicit, but C# does not allow. Okay, so tonight I will post the lecture, and also sorry I was sick. Yesterday I could not work and I could not put the last lecture video, but I will tonight hopefully last lecture and tonight's video I will upload tonight. And I have to mention last few minutes. Okay. Okay, and okay, if you do a Google search, like this is the website I like, techdifferences.com. Okay, I think okay. So if you go Google search on this site or any other search, there are some differences between an interface and abstract class in Java and C#. Okay, so please, I mentioned all of this, almost all of this point I mentioned here lecture. Okay, by the way, another important difference I forgot to mention that in an interface, and this is the interface and this is abstract class. Okay, in an interface you cannot declare constructor, but in an abstract class you can have a constructor. So you see there are the difference, about 7-8 points of difference between an interface and abstract class. There are maybe 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 points. At least you need to know 4-5 points. The difference between interface and an abstract class. Okay. This is good side. It has some definition, quick definition interface, and it has the differences between interface in and the interface in C# that we discuss in this link. So I like everybody. I will suggest this, or if you do a Google search like this keyword, okay, at least please read this page at least one, then you will get the between an abstract class and interface and the differences of abstract class or interface in C# and Java. There are some minor differences. Okay, without programming it is difficult to understand this, but I know that. Okay, and also you are not taking any C++. Nobody is here with C++, right? So in C++, it is called virtual and pure virtual method, virtual function and pure virtual function. If you are taking C++, then you should Go to this page as well as. Okay, as I mentioned that if you understand last lecture and today's lecture, we cover 50% of object-oriented programming concept. We covered 50% of object-oriented programming principles in these two lectures. If you have lack in understanding, please watch this lecture video and then go through our slides and do practice. Thank you so much.